But you know, some of those properties I showed that I house hacked, I mean, like for instance, the first property me and wife lived in, I bought for 52,000. It's probably worth 250 now. That was 10 years ago, right? Haven't sold it yet. I'm like, that's the one, and it's kind of in the hood. It's a little rough, whatever. But like, I just hang on to it. You know, there's sentimental value. But the rest of them, man, I don't even go to properties anymore. And this is something that's definitely helped. Like, use Company Cam or some other thing to be able to look at your properties on, you know, on video and on picture. Because if you're going to your properties all the time, like, dude, you're gonna get emotionally attached. And the more that you can treat them like, this sounds really bad, but the more that you can let your team be the attachment to it instead of you, then like you can treat them like a stock. You know, you can treat it like, man, this thing's dipping in value, the neighborhood's going to shit, we got to get rid of this thing, right? Or, man, this thing's a headache, even though I know the sacrifice it took to be able to like raise this much money, and this lender didn't really want to do it, and then you stayed up raising the money, doing the smile and dial till 11:59 at night to be able to get it closed. Like, I mean, those are things that happen, but like, you got to look at it from a spreadsheet instead of like actually in person, and that does help.
Love it. Great
As bad
advice.
as that does sound.
I have another question on that. When did you start to realize you needed to actually prune your portfolio?
So actually, what was that, 2015? So I had this community bank, Savings Bank of Circleville, and they put 12 loans into a blanket loan. And I was like, man, maybe I want to sell this property off. It was actually the one to my sister. And they're like, well, just as long as the loan's at 80% loan to value, we'll release the property. And I had the loan for like a year, so I paid down all this debt, and then they're like, yeah, you only owe 16 grand. I'm like, what? Like, you're telling me I can sell this property to her for 115,000, and you only want me to pay down 16,000 so I can end up with close to 100 grand on the sale? I was like, dude, I can do a lot more damage with 100 grand in this house. I'm like, sis, you can have this, right? And so when you get creative with your portfolio and you start siphoning out cash, you realize very quickly the ability that you have to buy more properties with more cash, right? So instead of just hanging on this property that's only making you $400 or $500 a month and having compound interest on one property, what can you do with 100 grand? If you can buy 4 properties that are doing the same thing for you, now look at 2 or 3 years in the future, dude, you quadrupled your net worth, right? So that was it for me.
How often are you looking at like your return on equity like that? Of like, is it like a once a month thing? Is it just a feel for it? You're like, okay, bro, in our weekly meeting, this piece of shit house has come up a lot. We have some equity.
Yeah.
Let's just free this thing up. It's a dog.
So we do it every month. So we're looking at our renewals every month. We're looking at the tenant behavior of every property and then figuring out, okay, if they're a great tenant, we want to reward good behavior. So we want to keep that tenant in there. We'll give the house to them first. Hey, you have first right to buy this house. Okay. If they can't, and we'll even work with them with a mortgage broker and try to get them, because I would much rather put these houses in the hands of the people than a hedge fund, quite honestly. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like one of my missions to do, even though we probably will sell to a fund at some point. You know, I want to try to get these houses in the hands of as many people as possible. So we'll give them first right, but if they're like a shitty tenant, get rid of it, right? Like, we don't want that headache. Or if it's just in a terrible area, you know, we want to get rid of it.